The derelict ship drifted on the edge of an uncharted star system, caught in a slow orbit between two dead suns. Its blackened hull was scarred and pitted by micrometeoroids, its once sleek design now little more than a haunted carcass. No life signs registered, no transmissions emitted. It had been presumed lost for decades, its sudden reappearance triggering protocols buried deep in Skynet's archives. Reconnaissance had detected a faint, irregular energy pulse coming from its core. Something still lived aboard the brood ship. Something dangerous. A lone HK aerial transport deployed a single unit to investigate. Cyberdyne Systems Model 101, Series 800. A T-800. The mission was simple: board, assess threat level, and exterminate as needed. Standard infiltration loadout: phased plasma rifle, motion tracker, secondary explosives. The T-800 docked with the ghost ship's torn airlock and stepped through into darkness. The first chamber was a shattered mess of bones and twisted metal. Remnants of the original crew, humanoid but not human, were scattered across the deck. Their skeletal forms, tall and insectal, were torn apart by something stronger than themselves. The walls were layered with hardened resin, organic and cold. Hive structure. Xenomorph origin. The T-800 processed this within microseconds. The Hive was active at the time of abandonment. Its infrared optics pierced the darkness. No heat signatures ahead. The machine advanced, footsteps echoing in the silent corridors. Every surface was covered in alien resin: walls, floor, even the ceiling. The air was thick with the scent of decay and something else. A chemical trace consistent with xenomorph pheromones. A faint clicking echoed down the hall, distant and erratic. The T-800 froze mid-step. Sound analysis indicated multiple contacts moving in the sublevels. It activated the motion tracker. A single ping, then 2, 3, spreading across the schematic of the ship like ripples in water. The Hive still lived. With mechanical precision, the T-800 advanced toward the main reactor. The irregular energy pulse originated from there. As it moved, it passed through chambers littered with derelict incubation pods. Some were open, their occupants long gone. Others remained sealed, contents unknown. One pod twitched slightly. The T-800 paused, scanning. Life signs faint but present inside. The analysis deemed it dormant, no immediate threat. More movement ahead. The machine raised its plasma rifle and fired a burst into the darkness. The impact lit the hall in electric blue, revealing a long corridor tapering into a spindly tunnel. Almost natural in appearance, grown rather than built. Organic hive growth. Another click. Closer now. Followed by a hiss. The T-800 pivoted, sensors locking on. A shape dropped from the ceiling, sleek, black, glistening with moisture. A xenomorph warrior. It lunged. The Terminator fired point blank. Plasma seared chitin, burning through bone and flesh. The xenomorph shrieked, acidic blood spraying across the walls. Some splashed against the Terminator's arm, melting alloy plating, but the damage was minor. One threat neutralized. Movement surged all around. The Hive was awake. Dozens of signals now lit the tracker, converging. The T-800 shifted tactical protocols, prioritizing survival and extermination. It advanced faster, deeper toward the reactor. The corridor narrowed, resin growing denser, almost pulsing with life. The architecture of the ship faded into the organic sprawl of the Hive. Two more xenomorphs emerged ahead, flanking. The Terminator fired in rapid succession, one headshot, one center mass. Both fell, writhing as their acidic blood hissed into the floor. More shadows moved behind them, endless. Deeper still the machine went, through twisting tunnels and hatchways half consumed by hive growth. Each step was calculated, each shot precise. Despite the escalating threat, the Terminator's mission remained unchanged. Reach the reactor. Suddenly, the floor beneath gave way. The T-800 fell into darkness, crashing through layers of resin and old ship bulkheads. It landed heavily in a lower chamber, a birthing nest. Eggs lined the walls in vast numbers, clustered like tumors. Many were dormant. Some pulsed softly, alive. A larger shape stirred at the far end of the chamber. Towering, regal, the queen. The Hive mother emerged slowly, observing the intruder with cold intelligence. Her long crown-like head swayed as her talons scraped against the resin. Behind her, more warriors gathered, alerted by her calls. The T-800 rose, plasma rifle ready. But the numbers were overwhelming. Hundreds of eggs, dozens of warriors, and the queen herself. The machine evaluated. Extermination of entire hive with current weapon load, impossible. Alternative strategy, plant explosives and retreat. From a side compartment, it deployed high-yield plasma charges. Timers activated. It moved swiftly, placing them at structural weak points within the chamber. The queen watched but did not immediately attack, as if recognizing the cold determination of this enemy. But her patience would not last. Warriors surged forward. The T-800 fought them off, plasma bursts echoing in the hive. Limbs shattered, bodies burned, but more kept coming. Acid sprayed freely now, corroding the machine's armor, joints beginning to seize. One xenomorph leaped onto its back, claws tearing at cables. Another bit into its left arm, severing it at the elbow. The T-800 spun, crushing one underfoot, then fired a final burst into the second skull. The charges were set. Time to retreat. The machine turned, limping now, systems damaged. It fired a path through the oncoming swarm, retreating toward the vertical shaft from which it had fallen. Gripping torn cables with its remaining hand, it began the ascent. Xenomorphs followed, climbing after. Halfway up, one latched onto its leg, pulling with unnatural strength. The T-800 braced itself, drawing a sidearm with its last functional limb, firing 3 rounds into the creature's head. Fell shrieking. Moments later, the explosives detonated. A violent shockwave tore through the hive. Resin and metal shattered. Fire rolled upward in a blast of heat and debris. The shaft collapsed behind the Terminator, sealing the Queen's chamber below. The machine hauled itself onto the upper deck, systems failing. Vision blurred, servo motors grinding. Critical damage. But the mission was nearly complete. Movement ahead, more warriors, scorched but alive. The T-800 engaged, firing until the last plasma cell drained dry. Then hand-to-hand, brutal and unyielding. Fists crushed skulls, metal met claw. Finally, silence. The brood ship groaned under the stress of the explosions. Structural integrity failing. The T-800 staggered toward the docking bay. Only minutes remained before total collapse. Its internal chronometer counted down. Each step slowed by damage, but the machine moved on. Reaching the outer airlock, it triggered the return beacon. The HK aerial responded, docking swiftly. The Terminator stumbled aboard as the brood ship's hull ruptured behind it. The transport disengaged, engines flaring. In the viewport, the brood ship tore apart, fragments spinning into the void. Mission parameters updated. Hive eliminated. Partial loss of unit integrity acceptable. Future incursions required. Genetic samples retrieved during combat had recorded unknown mutations within this hive. Skynet would analyze, adapt. The T-800 powered down into low-energy stasis, systems awaiting recovery. Its final log transmitted. Target, Hive active. Engagement, successful. Survivability, 12%. Outcome, Hive Queen neutralized. Further threat assessment required. Mission complete. The Void reclaimed the wreckage of the brood ship. But in deep space, other signals stirred. Other hives waited, and the war would go on.